I don't know if you can see this, but there's a bird that just flew into the Mustang. Hey bird, where you going? He's up under that stuff. I think he's gonna fly away. Yep, there he goes. Huh. Well, that's one way to start a video, but welcome back, drifters. We're back in the garage today. I'm working on the 67 Mustang, and I'm going to be basically fixing up where I left off in the last video. I managed to get a new welding helmet, and hopefully this time I'll be able to do it without blinding myself. So I actually got one of these as like an early Christmas present. I really needed it so I could work on the car, and I didn't want to wait till Christmas to get it. So we managed to get one. It's basically just a nicer version of the helmet that I had, because this one's actually, what is it, Hobart, so it's a welding helmet. I'm just hoping that this thing will actually activate quick enough that I'm not actually blinding myself every time I go to spark an arc. So we'll see. Okay, so this thing's got a ton of switches in there. I'm going to definitely have to test this thing out. This is something else. My God, there's like 500 different settings on this thing. This thing's got a nice little thing on here to keep this thing on your head. So this helmet's kind of crazy. There's like 3 different settings in there. It's for the different like darkness settings and everything, and the sensitivity. Like check this out, just as like a test. You can see that like as soon as it hits any light, it just goes really quick. So this should help keep me from going blind. Oh yeah, I got a big head. This is not gonna fit like this. Tie that on there. Ooh, it's a little tight, but that's good. I can't even see when I put that down. That's so weird. I can't even see the viewfinder. Oh, that's so cool. Anyway, let's go get started. Woo, we need to let that thing cool off a bit. It got a bit hot. Got a little bit of smoke going down there. Okay, so first test, this mask is way better than the one I had before. I can actually see what I'm doing when I'm welding. Before, I always had trouble seeing like where the arc was and where the puddle was and trying to push through it, and it would just hurt my eyes. This thing gets super dark. My eyes feel great, and it turns on like almost instantly. So yeah, I mean, this isn't a super expensive welding mask. I think it's Hobart. It's probably one of their more basic models. But man, it makes a world of difference over that cheap $30 one I was using. So if you are thinking about getting into welding, definitely buy a good mask, because holy crap, it makes a world of difference. So I know I'm not a pro or anything, but I think my welds are starting to get a little bit better. Alright, so it's not perfect, but I welded the little spot welds on the bottom, and we welded everything and grinded most of it back, so it's pretty nice and flush. So now it looks pretty good. I think that's actually, we can call that pretty much repaired. I'm just going to spray some primer on it, just to keep it from rusting, and yeah, call that a win. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I cannot stand how quickly it's getting dark around here. It's just been nuts. So the next thing I need to fix is going to be this nice big old hole right here. So what we're going to end up doing is cutting a section of this out, making a template, and then welding that in there, because that's going to be one of the pieces that the torque box needs to weld to. So this is an example of what that should look like. So in order to make this look like that, I'm going to have to basically try to hammer some of this out. We're going to cut out the piece and try to make this thing as straight as we possibly can. So what we're going to do to replace that piece that's missing is I took another chunk of the floor pan, because guess what? Same gauge metal. And yeah, we're just going to clean this thing up, and then we're going to make a template and cut it and bend it and eventually weld it on there. So now for the most satisfying part of this whole thing, and that's removing this rust. I don't know why the wire wheel on this thing just looks really cool. Check it out. So yeah, that's why the wire wheel is so nice, because it takes off all that like surface rust and leaves us with a nice clean piece of metal. But yeah, so now I'm just going to take this and use this to make a template. I'm going to make some cuts, bends, get it into shape, and then zip it on there. So let's do it. So what I'm going to do is take those marks, line it up in the vise, and then put a bend into this thing based on where that is, because that should be the start of the curve. Nice little shape, nice little bracket. That should also add a little bit of strength to this. And so I gotta say, I think I've got the fitment pretty dang good. I just need to get this notch down here at the bottom to fit right. So I'm gonna mimic this from the other side. So now I got a nice little angle there for where I need to cut. We're just gonna cut that little lip off. Well, I'd say that looks pretty good. I'd say that's a pretty darn good fit if you ask me. So now what I need to do is just clean all this up, grind the edges, and then do some primer, and then zip this sucker on there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, tack it on there, and hopefully all goes well and I don't just blow a hole right through it with the welder. So, wish me luck. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Okay, there's 2 tacks. We'll let that cool off a little bit. Okay, I blew a little hole through it, but that's okay. Do one more tack. Okay, so I need to get this part to push out a little bit because it's a little bit caved in, but the rest of it's pretty flush. So I should be able to do that. There we go. Cool. That's much better. Burning through a little bit, but that's just because it's super thin metal and I'm not experienced at this, but it looks okay. I mean, it's not terrible. Oh yeah, there it goes. A bunch of globs, but it looks nice. Cool. It's almost like you can't even tell it was messed up. I'm gonna spray a little bit of primer on there to make sure it doesn't rust. Considering what this thing looked like before, I would say we did a hell of a job. Including down here, we did a pretty bang up job getting those 2 things fixed. So I call that a win. So technically I'm not done with this yet. I still need to do some seam sealer, as well as I'm gonna do this POR 15. It's something that's supposed to help with this stuff. I've never used it before, but I've seen a lot of classic people, like classic auto restorers, using it. It's not that expensive, so something I'm gonna try out on a lot of these places just to make sure the rust doesn't come back. But yeah, as far as this goes, I think we did a pretty dang good job taking this thing from being all bent out of shape, tore up, had holes in it, everything, to now it's straight. It looks basically the same, And honestly, this piece is going to be hidden anyway. We're never going to see this once the panels go on. But I know that it's strong and it's going to help keep this car going down the road in one piece. So I call that a big win. So guys, that's all I'm getting done for today. As you can tell, it's late yet again. I got as much done as I could. I think we made good progress on the Mustang. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Who knows if it's going to be car stuff, fitness stuff. We'll see when we get there. But anyway, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. But don't forget, keep it nice and easy.